Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at FPGAs. Firstly, what FPGA crypto mining is, where to buy these crypto mining FPGAs, how to actually set up these FPGAs, and what coins to mine on them. So for a while, I've been making videos around FPGAs. They've stepped up a little bit because they're becoming less of a niche now because of Kaspa coin and all these FPGA mineable coins. Like when the merge came in for Ethereum, we didn't really see any FPGA mineable coins like Flux and Ravencoin and Ergo. They're all resistant to FPGAs and ASICs on the network. But subsequently, as coins have started to develop and come out, there's been more profitable FPGA mineable coins that have come out, and I've been making videos around them. So this video is talking about explaining what they are, going over how to buy them, how to set them up, and then what coins to mine on them. So as it says here, FPGA stands for Field Programmable Gate Array. And what that means is it's basically a chip. It can range from $50 up to $100,000 depending on the tech. And they're basically chips that you can program. So this is what people do. They program these chips for crypto mining. And today we're going to be looking at all the various different FPGAs that we have. So firstly, where do FPGAs fit into the scale? So normally cryptocurrencies will start out on CPUs, then they'll migrate over to GPUs, and then FPGAs in the middle between ASICs. Now you do see a blend of both sometimes. Normally it's GPU FPGAs and then FPGAs and ASICs. The only recent kind of model I've seen for all three of these is Ethereum before it went over to the merge. Then subsequently Ethereum Classic has the same kind of model as well. So we're seeing blends of GPUs and FPGAs on the Kaspa network, and subsequently when ASICs come on the network, it'll probably be a blend of ASICs and FPGAs because GPUs won't be as profitable. So FPGAs are kind of a go-between GPUs and ASICs. They're way more efficient than GPUs, but they're not as powerful as ASICs. So this kind of puts them in a gray area because GPUs aren't set up for any type of crypto mining, as in they're not made for it. However, ASICs are strictly made for crypto mining. FPGAs are the go-between, so you can program them onto different algorithms when certain developers decide to actually release these algorithms for these FPGAs. Now, one of the main things that I found out whilst looking over FPGAs is that there's not a lot of information on how to get them, where to buy them from, how to set them up, and it's not as easy as just looking at GPUs. Like any GPU can mine cryptocurrency depending on the VRAM and stuff like that. However, FPGAs are a bit different. So normally the cryptocurrency mining FPGAs are all made by AMD, and they're normally called accelerator cards. So this is where you find them. I'm going to leave links to all of these in the description below if you guys want to buy them. So AMD call them acceleration cards, and this is Alveo series. So they've got a bunch of different series of acceleration cards, but this is just the Alveo series. Basically, any accelerator card from AMD is able to mine on pretty much any network which comes out with a bit stream, and we'll get into what a bit stream is later on. So they have these Alveo U50. This is normally the ones that people will be mining on. I know if we go here, you can see that these are around $3,000 per board. So these can go for cheaper as well. There's cheaper ones out there. If you wanted to get into FPGA mining, there are smaller ones out there that you can buy. I think right now the U55C is actually the most efficient on pretty much every algorithm out there that has bit streams. So they do cost you a pretty penny depending on which one you're getting. For example, look here, we have the U200, which is going for upwards of $5,000 per board. So normally these are used in data centers. However, you can obviously program them to actually mine cryptocurrency. Now these are kind of an older series. AMD have come out with a newer kind of series, and these are the blockchain accelerator cards. So if you scroll down here, we can see that these are actually made for blockchain acceleration or blockchain mining basically. And it says algorithms can be implemented efficiently to consume less power than general purpose GPUs for the equivalent performance. So we saw it on Kaspa coin. We had GPUs. It was like the 4090 was doing great, and then FPGAs come and they knock the profitability out the water. We had like a 5x increase in hash rate with a third of the power, I believe. So you can see why people would tend to go towards FPGAs. I just don't think that there's enough information out there on them for people to get interested enough in them. They'd rather buy a GPU which can mine on anything, or they could rather buy an ASIC, which is stuck to one algorithm, because they're easy to set up. And there's a lot of information about GPU mining and ASIC mining on the web. So these variums are mainly made for blockchains. Now, it doesn't mean that they are the best ones you can buy for blockchains. There are more efficient ones. Like I mentioned, the U55C is probably the best one that I've seen in terms of power consumption to hash rate. But there are other ones like this, the VCU, normally called a BCU, I believe, Acceleration Development Kit. So these are all acceleration cards, and they are like a GPU. As you can see there, there's the PCIe. You just plug it in. Normally, these take a 6 or 8 pin. They don't normally go above that because they are such low power and they're good for efficiency. So you don't actually have to have a massive power supply to have a massive rig of these. You could have around 8 of them on one 850 watt power supply. Now, there are modified versions of FPGAs out there. So these can all be bought from the AMD website. I believe this one right here is not sold anymore because it's quite old. And the older the boards are, the less support they get from AMD. So you'd want to buy new ones. These variums are, I think, the newest one out of all of the ones that I've shown so far. And then the Alveo are the kind of biggest series that most people would be mining on, I believe. However, there are modified versions of FPGAs. As we can see here, this is a forest kitten, and a lot of people might have these for kaspa mining. However, it's a modified version of the VU33P FPGA. So the reason that we don't see too many FPGAs is because FPGA companies, apart from AMD, ones that make them on themselves, like that do their own chips and stuff like that, they tend to go out of business because it's not profitable to sell them. AMD have a large market share over FPGAs, so any other company kind of gets outed instead of, creating a brand and selling a lot of FPGAs. And so you're probably wondering how to set up an FPGA. Well, if you wanted to actually get into programming FPGAs, you'd use the Vitus software, which is basically you put your FPGA into there and then you can start to tinker around with it. It takes a while to actually learn all of this stuff. I've never even looked into how to program an FPGA. Around 5 years to get into how to actually program them themselves, and then you have to start developing for cryptocurrencies. So if you were heavily invested in FPGAs, it'd be a long time before you could program them yourselves. However, there are developers out there which take a percentage of certain cryptocurrency bit streams because they've made them, and then they get a dev fee for making them. And it can be highly lucrative if you come out with the first bit stream. So when I talk about bit streams, what does it mean? This is basically the way that you program it without doing it yourself. So people will make bit streams and they'll become available for these FPGAs, normally through Team Red Miner. And we'll have a little look at that in a minute. So an FPGA bit stream is a file that contains the programming information for an FPGA. These devices, which are all AMD ones, must be programmed using a specific bit stream in order for it to behave as an embedded hardware platform. This bit stream is typically provided by a hardware designer who creates the embedded platform. Programming FPGAs is a process of loading a bit stream onto one. During the development phase, the FPGA device is programmed using utilities such as Vivado, or as we saw there, the Vitus software. So this is an old website, but AMD actually bought out this company. These tools transfer the bit streams to the FPGA on board. In production hardware, the bit stream is usually placed on a non-volatile memory, and the hardware is configured to program the FPGA when powered on. So very rarely in the mining space would you get a bit stream that would be programmed just for you. Mainly the releases come out of Team Red Miner. Now Team Red Miner is an AMD mining software. So you have stuff like T-Rex Miner, which can mine on AMD and NVIDIA. Team Red Miner was made just to mine with AMD products. So that includes obviously these FPGAs made by AMD, plus the AMD GPUs which they make as well. As you can see here, they add support all the time. This is the newest version. FPGA added support for TUL TH53M board. And then there's a bunch of issues for VU9P boards, VU13P boards. If we scroll down here, let's just see, these are GPU updates. FPGAs added support for kaspa on these FPGAs. Added support for the E300 boards, which we saw from E300 from Osprey. And then if we keep going down, there's a bunch of added supports for FPGAs. And we can see there the Alveo U200 added support for that. So normally if a bitstream comes out, it will come out through Team Redminer. Now I also want to mention that the developers take a hefty fee for FPGA mining. Normally fees on mining programs are around 1 to 2%. It could be a bit lower, it could be a bit higher. Normally FPGA dev fees are 10%, I believe. So they get a hefty chunk, and you can see why it would be lucrative to teach yourself FPGA programming, because you could sell these bit streams off and get a 10% dev fee from that. So most of the time you would just download Team Redminer like a normal GPU mining software. However, there are some FPGAs which need developer boards that you can load on, and then the setup is kind of the exact same as GPU mining past that. Like for example, putting your wallet address in and what crypto pool you want to mine to. So there's countless amounts of videos out there on YouTube which will actually show you how to set that up properly. This video is more about what they are and to introduce people to FPGA mining, because I make a lot of videos on them, so I can refer back to this video. If you guys need a general overview of what FPGA mining is, I can send you to this video, and then I can refer you to other videos on how to actually set up the FPGA miner in terms of the actual card, loading on the software, and then mining. So when it comes to FPGA coins to mine, here we have a list. I put this together myself, so correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about any of these. So firstly, we have ETC hash coins, which is Ethereum Classic, and then the ETH hash coins, which is Ethereum POW and Ethereum Fair. Obviously, these FPGAs would have bit streams already from Ethereum, so you wouldn't actually have to change much, and they're widely available, I believe. Octaspace is also an ETH hash coin and can be ASIC mineable as well, so there's a possibility for that. I don't know if there's added support on Team Redminer yet though. Now another one that we've seen lately is kaspa coin, and that's obviously transitioning over to ASIC miners, but I think we'll still see FPGAs on the network for a little while. I think this is the most profitable coin to mine on FPGAs right now. I don't think anything else is profitable. Ethereum Classic isn't, definitely, and the same goes for Ethereum POW and Ethereum Fair, because they're heavily dominated by ASICs. I think Octaspace is dominated by ASICs as well, but sometimes it is profitable to mine on a GPU, so I'm assuming that FPGAs are kind of profitable on the network. And then lately with I think the video that I made 3 videos ago, we saw the Ironfish FPGA bitstream released on Team Redminer, so that's now official. And Radiant coin should be coming soon. We've seen the Multi-Miner M2 have an update for that, so you can mine Radiant coin, so that should be coming out on Team Redminer soon as well. They also mentioned that they would allow FPGAs on the network and ASICs. And then next on the list we have Kyler coin. This is a SHA algorithm offshoot, so it will allow FPGAs on the network, and I believe that people have them already on the network. It's just an unreleased bitstream that has been made previously for the coin, and it kind of had a revival, so people that had the FPGA bitstream would already have it. It's just a private one right now, but it could be released to the public soon. Next on the list we have Ergo, which is possible because Ergo is run off a voting system. Well, I mean a lot of coins are, but they previously said that they wouldn't allow FPGAs on the network as a vote. However, the E300 from Osprey Electronics says that they could add support for Ergo in the future. So I think they're basing off the fact that it could come down to a revote to have FPGAs on the Ergo network. I know that Flux and Ravencoin have strictly said that they're not allowing it. And then lastly, we have Nexa, which is possible as well. They haven't said anything about not allowing it on the network. And on their website, they do talk about accelerating hardware from GPUs to FPGAs to ASICs. So I'm assuming that it will be possible on the network soon. It's just a matter of if a developer wants to develop for coins. Kaspa coin is obviously a big one, so they wanted to get something out for that so they could, generate income from the bitstream. Same with Ironfish, and same with Radiant coming soon. Ironfish is slightly more profitable, I think, than Radiant. However, Kaspa is a massive coin and it's still growing, so people that got the bitstreams out probably had a hefty chunk of Kaspa in dev fees. I think that developing on smaller coins could pay off in the future if they take off. However, you need to see some concept of profits before you can start putting time into developing something. And lastly, when it comes to overclocking, the best place to look is the Team Redminer Discord. I'll leave a link for that in the description as well. So if you come down to here, there's a tuning FPGAs, and basically people will put in here their overclocks for certain FPGAs. There we have a TH53. This is for Ironfish. They have a CVP13 there. If we keep going down, there's the BCUs and the CVPs. People are talking about that. Let's keep going down. So these are all different types of FPGAs. It's kind of like a 3070 or a 20 series. That's the difference between some of them. There's the Forest Kittens 33s, the E300, which is the Osprey Electronics. This person is talking about a TH53. Does anyone have issues with the JC13? So if you want overclocks for your FPGAs, if you're looking into buying one, the best place to go is the Team Red Miner Discord, and you can also ask questions in there and they'll help you set up FPGAs for mining cryptocurrency. So that's it for the video. It's just a brief general overview of FPGA mining, what it is, where to buy them, and what coins to mine on them. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.